Many questions surround the LGBT experience in the Philippines. However, understanding starts with questioning. Join me in this series as we unravel these questions. Get to know some of the colorful stories of the LGBT. I am Mike Argonza, Gender Equality Ambassador of the 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines. Join us as we celebrate Pride Month 2017 together in color. The LGBT has long been an oppressed and marginalized sector in the Philippines. However, it also remains as one of the most resilient and unified. The acronym LGBT actually stems further than just 4 letters. The full acronym is LGBTQ&SOGIE. But to understand this mouthful of an acronym, we have to know the basics. That is, we answer the following question: what is the difference between sex and gender? We often see these two being loosely interchanged in day-to-day life, in application forms, in surveys. However, there is a big difference when it comes to the two. And not everyone tends to know what that difference actually is. Sex, obviously the more controversial of the two terms, can actually mean two things. One, which is the act of intercourse, and two, which is what we are more concerned of in this video: your biological assignment at birth. This pertains to a person being male or female based on their genitals. Gender is more cultural and social. It is how we are perceived based on two broad classes of gender roles, masculine or feminine. Now, gender is not in any way binary. That is to say, a person is not exclusively masculine or feminine. Think of it as more of percentages. And these percentages can also change through time. According to Erik Erikson, a famous psychologist, life is divided into stages according to developmental age. In each stage, a person tries to resolve a dilemma. For the teenage or adolescent years, it is what Erikson calls as the identity versus role confusion stage. In this stage, people try to develop a sense of self and identity. This, along with gender from the earlier part of this video, explains the reason why adolescents are focused on trying to discover who they are. Yeah, I know, these are a lot of terms. But to explain something as complex and nuanced as gender, we need to know a lot of things. And don't worry, I'll help you get through them one by one. Sexual orientation is a pattern of how a person gets attracted to other people, be it romantically, sexually, or both. Under it, we have heterosexual people as those who are attracted to people of the opposite sex. We also have homosexual people as the people who are attracted to persons of the same sex. This is the L and G of the acronym, standing for lesbians and gays. Now there are those that also get attracted to both sexes. These people are called bisexual. There might also be people who are not at all sexually attracted to anyone, but can be romantically attracted to other people. These people might identify as asexual. There are also those that we call pansexuals. These people are not attracted to kitchenware, but to people in general. They do not mind gender nor sex. They just know that they are attracted to other people, be it sexually or romantically. Gender identity, on the other hand, corresponds to the experience of one's own gender. It might be that you identify with your birth gender or not. Going back to the acronym, the two T's stand for transgender and transsexual. Trans is actually a prefix of Latin origin meaning beyond. So transgender literally means beyond gender. A transgendered person then is someone whose sense of personal identity does not correspond with their birth sex. A transgendered person might seek for medical help, be it through hormones or operations, to permanently transition to the sex with which they identify with, in which case they can be called as transsexual. On the other hand, if a person identifies with their birth sex, they might be called as cisgender. Cis is a prefix of Latin origin meaning on the side of. Now the two Q's of the full acronym stand for queer and questioning. These are those who have not yet fully identified with a certain gender or are still questioning their own gender identity. Going into the I of the acronym, we have intersex. Intersex are people that we can't really label as male or female upon birth. And this also affects their gender identity, as the others have bases for identity, but intersex people don't really have that. There are actually a lot of bases as to how we can say someone is intersex, which I will leave in a link to the description below. but estimates show that 1 in 2,000 live births can be identified as intersex. 2S means two-spirit. These are gender concepts of a more spiritual origin. Some people believe that a person's spirit manifests their behaviors. However, in some cases, a person might acquire two spirits of different sexes, hence the name two-spirit. In the Philippine context, these are the Babaylan or Catalonan of ancient Philippines. They were respected leaders and regarded as figures of authority. The LGBTQ+ experience and community might be a bit alienating and exclusive, and fighting for a cause which some people might not be able to relate to can be intimidating. This is where the last A comes in, which stands for allies. These are people who, although do not identify with the community, recognizes that the community thrives best with loving supporters. Now that we are done with the info overload that is this video, I hope we have imparted something of importance to you. Yes, labels can be a bit tricky. They can either define you or limit you. Some people even forgo the labels altogether. But at the end of the day, it's all about acceptance and understanding that we are all here, we coexist, and we should all live together in color.